It usually happened when the house was quiet, maybe when you were just settling down and relaxing for the night, or maybe you were at work, your phone buzzing on the desk, then you'd see it, a message from a stranger, a girl with a kind face in her profile picture, someone you didn't know, but who seemed to know you, and then those 5 words, "Can I tell you a secret?" It's a hook. Human nature wouldn't let you ignore it. You'd reply, "Yes, who is this?" And that is the moment your life begins to fall apart, because the secret isn't about the stranger. The secret is about your life, your boyfriend, your best friend, your deepest insecurity. This isn't just a story about cyber nuisance. This is the account of a 10-year campaign of digital warfare that turned the United Kingdom into a playground for a phantom. A man who didn't want your money or your data, he wanted to ruin lives. For more than 11 years, starting as early as 2006, this phantom would target over 60 women across the UK, quietly inserting himself into their lives through fake accounts, rumours and manipulation. This is the case of Matthewhardy. Matthewhardy didn't just send messages, he built an intricate web of lies. And to understand the scale of this case, you have to understand his method. Imagine waking up to a message from your sister. She's angry, she says she saw the terrible things you wrote about her on social media. You're so confused because you know you haven't posted a thing. So you check your accounts and nothing. Then she sends you a screenshot. It's an account with your name, your profile picture, your photos of your children, your pets and your home. And this other you has been messaging everyone in your contact list for weeks, spilling secrets, hurling insults and destroying your reputation while you slept. But here is the twist. Hardy wouldn't just pretend to be you, he would play both sides. He would message a woman telling her that her partner was cheating. Then he would message the partner pretending to be a concerned friend, telling him that his girlfriend was planning to leave him. He established a digital realm of mirrored personas, stalking countless lives while remaining anonymous, hiding behind his computer. In the real world, these couples were arguing over things that never happened, fueled by a secret from a person who did not exist. Relationships that had lasted decades crumbled in 48 hours. And the scariest part, when the victims blocked him, he didn't go away. By 2011, the Phantom had a name, Matthewhardy, a young man from Northwich in Cheshire. But knowing his name didn't stop the nightmare. Hardy was a ghost. He lived a quiet, isolated life, rarely leaving his bedroom. But inside that room, he ignited the chaos from the shadows of the dark web. Investigators would later find that he had hundreds of fake personas active at any given time. One victim reported that Hardy didn't just target her, he targeted her entire town. He would find a local hair salon's Facebook page, look at the followers, and start messaging every single woman on the list. One woman, Amy, described the feeling of being hunted in her own home. She would block 20 accounts a day. She would change her number, and within an hour, she would get a text saying, "New number? Nice try. Kiss, kiss." Think about that. How did he know? Was he watching her house? Was he hacking her camera? The paranoia began to blend into the physical world. Some victims stopped leaving the house. Others stopped answering the door. For nearly a decade, Hardy was repeatedly arrested, questioned, and released. In fact, he was arrested roughly 10 times, and complaints about him continued to pile up, yet for years no criminal conviction had put a stop to him. The reason wasn't that the crimes weren't happening, it was that the system simply didn't understand them yet. Reports were being filed across different police forces and different cities. Many officers treated them as isolated incidents instead of one coordinated campaign. Cheshire Constabulary alone received over 100 complaints linked to Hardy, but for years those cases were never fully connected. At the same time, cyberstalking laws were still evolving, and proving criminal intent in digital harassment cases was very difficult. Some victims were even advised to simply leave social media or block their accounts rather than the police investigating them as a serious crime. But Hardy had already been convicted more than once. In 2011 and again in 2013, he was found guilty of hacking and harassment and was given suspended sentences and restraining orders. But those punishments didn't stop him. Even when restraining orders were breached, the consequences were limited. The laws at that time weren't equipped for a monster who used emojis instead of weapons. For 10 years, the file on Matthewhardy was a mess of disconnected reports. 10 different police forces, dozens of officers, a mountain of paperwork that led nowhere because no one was looking at the bigger picture. That changed in December 2019 when a single case landed on the desk of PC Kevin Anderson of the Cheshire Police. Anderson wasn't just any officer. He fully believed that digital crimes left very real scars on their victims. He began his investigation, and when he searched Matthewhardy's name in the police national database, he didn't just find one victim. He found a trail of destruction stretching back over a decade. More than 100 incident reports. Anderson soon realised this wasn't a collection of small incidents. It was a single campaign, with victims spread across multiple regions of the UK. He was looking at more than 10 years of digital harassment. Anderson met a woman who had been tormented for many years. She walked into the station and handed him a huge folder. It wasn't a few pages, it was 700 pages of evidence. Logs of every message, every fake profile, every secret Hardy had ever sent her. This massive dossier became a turning point. Investigators began compiling the scattered reports into a single case. And during the investigation, Hardy made a mistake. One of his fake accounts was traced back to his home Wi-Fi network in Northwich, linking the online harassment directly to him. As Anderson read through the files, he realised the horror was nationwide. Hardy was messaging people in London, Manchester, Scotland. He was a virus spreading across the map. As Anderson read deeper into the files, a pattern began to emerge. Hardy wasn't just annoying people, he was executing a calculated strategy of social isolation. Anderson was particularly disturbed by one case. Hardy had messaged a woman on her wedding day, attempting to destroy her marriage before it even began. I realised this wasn't just a nuisance, this was a man who took pleasure in the emotional carnage caused. I decided right then, this guy needs to be brought to justice. Anderson did something no one else had done. He listened. He spent hundreds of hours speaking with victims. He studied the infamous 700-page dossier. He mapped the fake accounts, the IP addresses, the lies, the timelines. Hardy believed he was untouchable because he never physically touched his victims. But Anderson understood something Hardy didn't. Every digital action leaves a trace, and piece by piece Anderson was building a trap, not for harassment, not for a warning, but for stalking causing serious alarm and distress, a charge that carries real prison time. And because of PC Kevin Anderson's determination, the Phantom of Northwich finally had a face, and that face was heading for a courtroom. In January 2022, the game finally ended. Matthewhardy stood before a judge at Chester Crown Court. The case against him was so strong, Hardy backed into a corner and pleaded guilty to multiple stalking offences. The judge said his actions caused sheer misery. He noted Hardy's fixated obsession with dismantling the happiness of others. Matthewhardy was given 9 years in prison. Currently, it is the longest sentence in British history for cyber harassment. However, his sentence was later reduced to 8 years on appeal. Because for the women Matthewhardy targeted, the story didn't end when the sentence was handed down. Years later, the damage still lingers on for victims. Friendships that were broken and never repaired. Trust that was destroyed, never fully returned. And even now, when their phone pings in the middle of the night, some of them still hesitate before opening the message. Because Matthewhardy proved something disturbing about the digital world we live in, you don't have to break into someone's home to break into their life. So the next time a stranger sends you a message and asks a simple question, do you want to know a secret? Remember this story, because sometimes the most dangerous lies can arrive as a friendly message.